Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cryptopocalypse Now. I'm your host, Crypto Ranger, the one with constant technical issues when it comes to these streams. You thought that you were going to see me swimming in the pool. You got used to it. This time I was naked. I was enjoying my private time and I had no plans of doing this stream. Don't get used to it. We jumped in the pool together a few times, but that was it. It's nothing special. Whew. All right, so what's happening? It is super late here, but I had a couple of minutes to my name, and I decided to share that with you. So here we are. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, people who are coming in here from last night, who are still not part of the community, how did you like that long setup that I gave you before we signed off? Don't get used to it. Not gonna happen every day. But today we're gonna waste some time, look at some charts, and this thing over here. What you won't do for cash. You tried everything, but still subscribe to trash YouTube channels. What you won't do to trade like a MarketSpy. You tried everything, but your brain still denies. The truth is out there, ladies and gentlemen. We have the greatest setups in the world. Join us as we run you through these exclusive charts that you can meditate on. These are exotic, one-of-a-kind charts that no one is talking about. That's also a lie, because everyone's looking at the same charts. But in today's video, especially, we are looking at, Bitcoin just keeps creeping. Bitcoin just keeps creeping up the page, keeps going up and up and up and up, and it seems that it will never stop. It seems that, you know what? Let's get out of the pit and go to the everyone's favorite view. I don't know. We need a name for that. We need a name for that view. Platoon, YouTube, thank you for liking. We haven't even started yet. Already killing it. Already so many likes I can. It's amazing. Thank you. All right. So here we go. This is the chart. This is the chart. What happened yesterday? On this red candle. We went to Discord, the whole gang, the whole platoon crew, and the onlookers here that are not part of the community. You got rewarded because you looked at this and you're like, what is he gonna do next? And I was like, you know what? We have a long coming up. Take it and make it. and you had a nice little setup, and it turned out to be a little base support here for the following day pump, always leave a runner when you're trading these 10% participation fee. Let it run and get to those targets daily. So first things first, there's a lot of garbage in the background. It's not really garbage, but it's very useful. By the way, those of you who picked up on some of the tips that I shared about how to turn Bybit Pro into this glorious semi-transparent, you can throw anything in the background. But instead of a wallpaper today, I decided to take, what's this thing called? Crypto Watch desktop, and put that in the background. Just so I can see the order book, the iceberg right here, where it matters most. And here we are. It's a beautiful sight to behold. So here it is, guys. Yesterday we talked about how I have no interest to get into any sort of swings to new all-time highs. I don't care if it goes there. In my opinion, these are the type of setups where expect the unexpected. Expect the unexpected in these type of situations where everything just seems unstoppable. It's it's beautiful, no denying it, and you can't go wrong as long as you're not shorting. However, I am now strongly considering to lock in the quarterly profits that we have made here, and I have a little strategy to go by, and I wanted to share that with you today really quickly. You can see how by the way, you're looking at a potential breakout here, okay? 15-minute time frame, but it's overextended and it most likely is going to fail. All right, so I don't know what you can do with this. Yesterday I had a setup for you long at the bottom range here. Right now I don't know. So for those of you who are here for the freebies, I'm sorry, no candy today. Every other stream though should have been there. Should have traded those setups. They were all profitable. But today, they were just chilling back, scaling back a little bit. And I wanted to look at time frames on a 12, 6 months, and 3 months chart resolutions. I think that would be a lot of fun. There's something that I'm looking at there, and I just wanted to speculate a little bit. So, first thing first. Allow me to be the devil's advocate here and warn against, I love being the guy that tells you don't FOMO, even if it means missing a trade or two. It's been a long while. We kept, coming up, and here we are. We've been going up, no significant correction, right? And whatever. Some people are like, oh yeah, I knew it. The thing is, nobody really knows, right? This thing could correct anytime. And I looked at some of the corrections in the past on Bitcoin and how those look like 17, 20, 70% corrections and where they are most likely to occur. Now, right now, the ETF, I am not... Look, the market is buying time right now. The market is buying time right now. Let me just, this is not a fact, pure speculation. I'm going to join hands with the rest of the speculators of the world, and I'm going to bring something up real quick. Let's bring up the Cointelegraph. This made me feel dirty. This made me feel extremely vulnerable, and the bearishness was vicious. I felt it. I felt the alpha predator bear waking up from his slumber when I read this piece. And I think we're gonna have a little melt up, and that's that. I think we're gonna close the gap, and we're gonna slightly run the all-time high or attempt to run it, and we'll have a freaking reversal at that point. So here's why I'm not interested in this chart right now. All right, let me just get this in here. How do we do it? Like this. Oh man, that's disgusting. Look at all that whiteness. Holy crap. Where's the dark mode? So I looked at this, right? And let's go through this together, right? Because look, it says Bitcoin bulls target price is about 58K ahead of Friday's. So there's a little catalyst that is very much based on liquidity. It's based on actual traders' positions, and so I don't know if it's like, you know, I told you before. I told you 2 days ago that this run up is going to be based on traders, not new fresh retail money or whatever everyone is saying. Everyone's interested. No, this is going to be traders basically running the price up. Now today, for the first time, we have funding rate that spiked up over 0.02% for the first time ever, and we're at an all-time high for this period. All right, for this period, and that to me, ladies and gentlemen, is something of a concern by me. Say so. So this is one of the many things that just started to come across my screen on Google feed. You know, I was scrolling, chilling, you know, and had a little Thai massage. And I had my phone with me, and I was reading this, right? And I looked at it, and it talks about like today's date, October 15th, 820 million, and not that big of a deal in BTC options expire on this date, right? And I thought to myself, well, this is that's not really good. Is it good? I don't know. It can't be good. The thing is, last time this happened, Bitcoin ran up significantly. Like it kind of had a mini explosion. Okay. And this article assumes that the same is going to happen now, and everyone is looking forward to it. So there's a lot of bullish confluences happening. There hasn't been a single time in my existence as a trader where I have seen a bullish article that is not followed by a massive correction. I'm talking about like when just everyone just forgets who we are, where we are, what the market is, and they start to push their own ideas and start realizing dreams that never were. Things start to happen, all right? And so everyone is talking about a 6-figure Bitcoin price now that the global digital asset has broken out of its multi-month downtrend and confirmed that a bullish trend is in play. So this confirmation, you know, I read this, I really want to drag you through this, all right? I know it might seem boring, but you know, let's do this anyways. So downtrend confirmation, you know, we saw that like weeks ago, right? During the run up, and it kept going up in a way. And now everyone is kind of like confirmed, you know, they're using big words like confirmed, downtrend is over, multi-month, we had a breakout, you know, ETF is just around the corner. If Bitcoin happens to enter a parabolic move towards 110, you know, just a random pulled out of my ass number, 110. The other guy's like 85. This next Joe over there is 250. Kathy Woods out there soon 500,000 minimum, right? Like all these random numbers coming about, right? Speculation is rampant right now. And they're like, that would finally. So this is another word where people are like very much are in this anticipation mode where they have been waiting for this moment, you know, and they're finally going to get rich. But guess what? It ain't happening. So there's finality here. It's gonna match Plan B's stock to flow model prediction. And according to the pseudonymous analyst, this guy, nobody knows who he is, right? Satoshi himself. Elon Musk energy for fuck, man. I can't even read anything to do with Elon Musk. Where's the part? Bulls' hopes, right? Mostly cling to an exchange-traded fund being approved in the United States Securities Exchange Commission. Currently, there are multiple requests pending review between October 18th and November 1st. But the regulator could postpone its final decision. But there's always a but. You know, they're covering their asses here, saying that we're not telling you go long right now because, you know, there's always this but. And, you know, being a skeptic, help me all the time, every time. It's foolish to look forward to something based on speculation and the desire to see that which we have been looking forward to since 2017, when the first Bitcoin CME futures were introduced and they shorted the snot out of it, right? When something is that good and appreciating value and you've been accumulating and that your clients want in, you short that. You short it. You don't long it. You short it. So it's just a matter of time, right? Nobody wants to hear that. But hey, I'm trading. I care about this, right? If you're hodling, I'm sorry if that's not the story you're up for this morning. But I'm trading, and I don't want to get caught in the middle of all this nonsense when you know, the majority are expecting one thing and then something entirely different happens. So as I kept reading this and the way it was written, right, it's like the author himself was just blinded by the light at the end of the tunnel of this ETF approval. And when everyone is like, you know, the same thing happened to El Salvador. I'm talking about a short term. I'm not talking about a crash, the end of the world correction. I'm talking about getting in now. You're going to get slapped across the face with a huge correction. And there will be a time to get in for a continuation because we are in a bull trend. That is, you know, I've looked at charts from every angle possible, and this would be the craziest trap of all times if it's not true. It's just that we're moving a little too fast, a little too high on hopes, and that's never a good thing. It's never a good thing. So multiple requests, everyone's waiting for stuff, right? Then October 15th, 830 million. So they're mixing, like, you know, anything. It's desperation. It's desperation, and the market is a little agitated, overextended, right? This option was largely impacted by the 20% price rally initiated on October 4th. You know, now it's this thing, right? Which mostly likely eliminated 92% of the put sell options. Okay. The aftermath of China's mining crackdown was an important event that might have fueled investor sentiment. Like, fueled how? How are you going to fuel my sentiment as an investor if you're telling me that this shit is going down? They're cracking down on it. What are you talking about? Research shows that U.S. accounting 35% of the Bitcoin hash rate has now shifted. I don't know. This is all lagging. All of these reports are lagging. I smell FOMO in the air, and I have no interest in it whatsoever. It's not attractive, literally. You know, at the bottom of it, I was really excited, right? We were looking at those, like these things over here down below, and that was good. Right now, I'm seriously considering shorts, but I'll let it. You know, I don't want to underestimate greed. I looked at some levels. I have determined that there's a perfect place for an entry if it happens, just so that I can lock all those gains in. I'm gonna sit on that short for a little while, take a little break, and wait for the wave to pass. Now, what I mean by the wave is that it is my understanding that well, I'm just gonna pass it on to you, okay? I was taught that you should never trade on the day when there's an executive decision that's about to happen across the market. That goes for, like, for Forex, for example. That's like important dates. non-farm payroll, job reports, employment and stuff like that, right? Things, banks, rates, anything to do with anything that is major ahead of Fed talks, you don't trade. You simply do not trade. Okay, because you're gonna get slaughtered. You just don't know the outcome of how the market might react, because if there's nothing beyond that on the horizon, the market is already priced in. I guarantee you're not joining the rest, and you're being a genius figuring it out and saying that, aha, ETF approval, institution inflow, boom, doors open up. They will short it. They will put the hammer down on it. I'm telling you. And the ETF long is gone. It's not now. We'll see how that turns out. But the thing is, if I'm wrong, I'm not doing anything. Untouched. And if I'm right, I get a better price and skip all the drama. So join me on this fundamental analysis here. So here's another one. Here's another warning. This thing over here. On October 8th, this article summarizes like the whole industry-wide gossip / talk right now about pretty much everything that you can hang on to as a bullish reason to go long. All right, it's not good. So Expire was profitable for bulls last time around, October 8th, right? So this time is no different. It will be profitable, but do you know what happened after October 8th? Might be a good idea to just scan the charts real quick and see how long it took for that next dip to show up. And so bulls had more firepower, and this is evident in Friday's million expires. So this thing expires, maybe something happens, maybe nothing happens. I don't know. This advantage explains why the call buy options open interest is 43% higher than the neutral to bearish put options. Bulls have a reason to push Bitcoin price above 58. And so right after this big headline over here, comparing numbers, 6,000 calls versus 190 puts, the net result is complete dominance with bulls profiting. The market's not going to let you get away with this. Bears are sneaky, they're always the last ones to laugh. All right, they're always the last one. They're not first in line. Go, I'm rich. I'm a millionaire. I'm a genius. No. They'll be the last ones laughing, always. It's not gonna last, but they'll have their day. They'll have a field of a day. Now, this raw estimate considers call options being exclusively used in bullish bets and put options in neutral to bearish trades. And there it goes. However, investors might have used a more complex strategy that typically involves different expiry dates. So we cannot rely on that information whatsoever, because those could be hedge bets and they're not necessarily market movers. And then it goes on to talk about how bears need a 7% price. I see a 7% price correction here anyways, to reduce their loss. And in every scenario, the article goes on to say that bulls have absolute control of this Friday's expiry, and there are a handful of reasons for them to keep the price above 56. All right, and they're calling you on to join them in this fight to float the price above 56. Now, on the other hand, bears need a 7 negative move below 54 to avoid a loss of 235 million or higher. Not a big number to fight for, but they finish off with saying this: nevertheless, traders must consider that during bull runs, the amount of effort a seller needs to pressure the price is immense and usually ineffective. When I read that was the cringiest thing ever. Analytics point to a considerable advantage from call buy options, fueling even more bullish bets next week. So no short squeeze, nothing. Just bulls are fully confident pushing the market up, and despite being bullish throughout, they wrap it up by saying, nevertheless, traders must consider that during bull runs, the amount of effort a seller needs to pressure the price. So they're telling you that the correction is impossible. Don't worry about it. Go long. It's ineffective. So nothing's going to happen if you go long. So for these reasons, right, exclusively, this article for me is nothing special, to be honest, but it's summarized all that is typically a normal thing with the market. So there's your melt up. You have your breakout buy, and I think this thing is going to go and close the gap. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm watching closely. Let me see. Now remember, we're moving into the weekend territory, and so yeah, so the gap right now is officially closed. Let me bring this up for you so you can see. Paying attention to this. See that? Price right now is, it's closed the gap. So in a few moments, once we approach the new all-time high, closer to the daily close, I will consider going short and hedging my entire account here. Okay. I do believe that it can run this flat top a little higher, but I'm looking between 63 and 64. And I'm gonna one exit and just sit on it till next Monday or maybe next Friday. I'm not gonna do anything. And I'm not gonna have any take profit points. We'll see how it goes. So this I'm interested in. All right, and the toughest thing about markets is that you have to do something that is contrary to what everyone else is doing. But at the same time, you may get run over by bulls. And so that's why I'm not leveraging up. I'm actually securing profits so that if this thing craps out and goes the way of the dinosaurs and corrects like by 20% or something, right, really quickly, I'll stand to benefit from that. So there are no more gaps right now on this chart, and I think the weekend that is yet to come is going to hold these levels. And as a matter of fact, we might go slightly higher to create another gap that we will need to close going on the way down. Now on the way down, immediately, right, you're looking at a gap right now, right here. Let's mark this, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to go back a candle or two. Okay, it sits now. Come Monday, once all of this is over, the market is waiting for the ETF approval. We've got about 15 days left. It's going to be a bunch of nonsense, but 5655, we're coming down. The market's gonna pay for this, all right? So I'm gonna wait for the spill. I'm gonna wait for the spill, and however, right now it will be extremely foolish and early to get in on the melt up. So I would say wait for the daily close. We've got about 8 hours of potential uptrend, and this thing goes, I'm looking at 60, 65, 64, 65, thereabouts. And I'll close my eyes and just go short around the area. As a matter of fact, Done. I see what gets filled up there. Can it give me that entry? It should. Greedy bastards will try to push it higher, but yeah, just feeling that dirtiness right now in the market, that competitive edge here, where everyone is fighting to be right towards those random ass targets, 120, 185. You know, I have my own 75, and I think we're gonna get there, but not in a straight line. You'll see. I have seen this happen before, and I'm sure that this is not the first nor the last time Bitcoin's done something like this. And overly bullish traders are gonna get it. They are going to get it. So outside of this, right, I just wanted to look at some of the charts on the macro and just show you a couple of things that I observed on higher time frames, looking at 12, 6 months, and so on. And using log charts. So remember, if you trade like we trade, you're always in consistent profit, and it doesn't really matter. You're not missing anything out, but there's a risk. You run the risk of giving it all back if you now compete for the summit here. Okay, I'm just warning you. You're on your own here, guys. You're on your own. You might give it all back if you join the crowd. So please be careful. And you know, extreme confidence. I know my place in the food chain. I step back, all right? When the sharks come out, I step back and I watch them kill each other. They spill the blood, I'll go and clean it up and get paid for that. But right now, this is not, even though, you know, I was literally looking at this breakout. And when we started the stream, I told you that, you know, there's a potential breakout happening right now. And you got your little leg over here, but you know what? It's not calling me. It does not have my name on it. This is not CR's range. You know, all I had was this little chart pennant, and it'll go further. It'll go further up. There's still. But I'll be getting in on that short if it does. I'm expecting a huge wick rejection, and that ETF is funny business, in my opinion. Sound check? What do you mean sound check? Everything. Oh, that was an old message. I'm just reading the chat right now. The world is stepping in now. FOMO. Yeah, look at the funding rates. Now, don't get me wrong. This could be a strong bull territory where, you know, the kind of bulls that come in and long the absolute top and then push Bitcoin by another 20, 30% and higher, right? Because they've been waiting to see if the previous all-time high gets taken out. But I don't have, personally, right, on this and the other one, I don't have that capital where I can survive a potential, you know, 20, 30 instant correction, unplanned, unprepared. So I did not have a plan to long the top on the breakout. I'm not one of those bulls. You know, we play a different game here altogether. So I'm just telling you that I'm not participating in all of this, and I'm not interested in it. And I think there's a better opportunity, more stable, more calm, when half of them get killed off. And rule number one, guys, trust me, take this and run with it. Never ever trade on rounded important dates when something major is happening. Literally don't trade on those days. The market isn't going anywhere. You're gonna get slaughtered. You're gonna believe what you see, and you'll trade the illusion, and it'll just go poof, along with your account. So ETF approval, I don't like it. I don't like El Salvador adoption thingy going on, you know, because they can screw it up and tarnish Bitcoin's name if something goes wrong. You know, I want all of this to just go away. I want to go back underground, trading Bitcoin. You know, regulators chirping here and there, whispering about, banks are in danger, this and that, and people are believing, yeah, it's game over for banks, and I'm all in crypto. I don't like it. So I'm seeing a melt up potential here, but I want to be secured. And honestly, last time around, at around this price level, was a very, very good price to sell, in my opinion, Bitcoin. But I also last time around started selling it around 40. And as it kept climbing higher, you know, I kept trading and selling and selling and selling it. But it wasn't like I'm gonna like log this level in. I'm just gonna sit on it. So from a trader's perspective, I'm giving a second chance to tackle Bitcoin's historical all-time highs, and the market cap right now is also exploding and setting new all-time highs. And whenever there's a new all-time high, it is due for a correction. We're almost at 2.5 trillion, and we're likely to go higher. But I'm looking maybe at 3. Bitcoin sits at around 665, and that's this one's diverging like crazy. It's not even, it's nowhere near that. But this one does not have Bitcoin included, so that's the rest of crypto over here. And then we have total 3 that's not saved here, but I looked at that guy also, and it's just it could go way higher, but I'm okay here. I'm okay at the previous all-time high. So just letting you know, if you were overcome with emotions and you're confused and super excited, especially if you're super excited right now, you just gotta do something before the train goes away. Look, the train started moving a long time ago, right? And it could be arriving at its final destination for all you know. Way too much confidence in the market right now that the train is going to continue moving, but we could be at the end of the railroad. A lot of money is flowing in right now, and do you think this is the beginning? I think it's the late money, and late money are bag holders. Okay, this is trading. You pass it on to the next guy holding the bag. All right, so this, when I look at this, it's right now we're transitioning into that next territory. It's not actually all these guys. It's like the bags are getting passed over. All right, because if anyone who bought here is not looking to sell here, they're literally going to unload around here, rinse and repeat. Right? I'm not seeing it. And but yeah, Bitty is going to run that all-time high and face some consequences on the way. And weekend, I think weekend we may actually not do anything now. We may actually go sideways, and then it can do something on the weekend and overextends way past like 64 or something, and then Monday we go down with vengeance. As soon as that ETF thingy comes out, no matter if it's positive, negative, doesn't matter. We're gonna have that pullback, all right, that we've been waiting for. But people don't think so. People think it's set in stone. That's it. I cannot wait any longer. I'm going to miss out. ETF approval is just around the corner. This is the time. You know, I'm not going to wait till Monday when they announce I'm going to do it now. That's how you get screwed. That is how you get screwed, ladies and gentlemen. Don't believe the hype. So but here's another fun fact. Many people cannot manage their emotions, and so they'll trade regardless. And they'll try to capture their volatility and say, yeah, I know, I'll be careful. I'm just saying the move from here can be so sharp and rapid that you won't have time to manage unless you already planned for it and have your levels preset. I don't. So I'm not messing with it. If you're like in the middle of it just because it's moving and then suddenly that triggers you to trade, I don't think that's a smart move. All right. But yeah, don't like it. Don't like it. It was fun and all up to this point. Now, I don't know. Let me just remind you that the single biggest bullish candle ever in Bitcoin's history is this one right here. Now we had another one over here and it pulled back like half the distance. All right. It may seem like it's nothing, right? But this is the biggest freaking candle in Bitcoin's history in a single month, and we're like in the middle of it. All right. It's not gonna end well. Now, this is where we activate macro, and now we're going to talk about some of the stuff that I'm looking at here that you should be aware of. So take a little breather, pause for a second, consider taking profit, closing your positions, and stepping the hell away from the charts. And if you can manage that, we'll be back with more to see if we can prepare for the next move after this is all said and done. ETF, you know, options, expiry, bears, you know, all that nonsense. Don't trade around events. Simple as that. It'll save your account, trust me. and gentlemen, a few months back, when we were at 30K, here on this channel, you had a few streams to go by that gave you a macro target of 75K. Everyone else is just starting to talk about crazy targets, right? A good analyst would see things into the future. And it's not about crystal balls. It's about homework. It's about using tools properly to help you understand what is happening in the market globally, across all markets, not just Bitcoin. And I would just like to say that if you're an investor, then I don't know why you're watching these videos at all. Hodlers, don't waste your time. Hold your Bitcoin to Kathy Wood's targets 500K. That's that separate game there. For us traders though, like one of our own yesterday said, by the time you guys mark your targets and initiate your trade, we're already traded that 500 times up and down. If you want to be part of this here, you absolutely are welcome, because the platoon is open to everybody. But do you have what it takes? Do you have the diligence, the willingness, the brilliance that's required to be part of the group? Right now we're going to go and take a look at the macro charts. And the macro is looking really bullish, right? But there's a little catch. That's also kind of like what makes the markets. And it usually is something that no one expects, and it happens and it bites you in the ass just when you think you figured it all out. Music stops. So let's take a look what that is. What could it be? Yeah.
Oh man, 33 likes. Really want to see all-time highs. Keep smashing the like button. Just like yesterday on that breakout. I guess a lot of you guys really like that, huh? You came back for seconds. Well, the mission for completion. There's 50 likes now. The stakes are up. No trade setup for free here on YouTube, unless we cross over the 50 mark. I don't know how you're gonna pull that off, which is it's pretty impossible at this point. But yeah, let's not get wrecked. Clifton Lewis says anti-wrecked all day, every day, and that, my friends, is the right mindset. neutral on the direction. Everyone can see that it's going up now. No one was talking about 30K rounded bottom. We're gonna impulse up and move towards 75K minimum. No, I can only speak for myself. And we at the platoon collectively came to this understanding, and it was written in stone. Now you see this dildo over here. Excuse my language. Everyone's like, ah, all-time highs, yay!
Way before CR, just realized the chart was showing me 100K level before Kathy Woods, before everyone else a week ago.
Buddy, we were here from like 2 months ago, all right?
Ignore them, CR. It's not good for your health. Don't pay attention.
Shut up, Tonto. No one's talking to you. I'm just making a point here.
You do have a point, CR.
I know. The whole point is that I have a point. And the point is, I don't like that everyone is just now realizing it. Short the laggards. Short the laggards, all right? Short everything that's lagging. Because the market is gonna do that for you if you don't act now. Not financial, but I'm not telling you to short. Don't misunderstand. Let's take a look. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on Bitstamp right now. It's decent, you know, it's got history. How far back can we go? September 11th. Ouch. Why did it have to? Look. Forget about it, all right? It's got history. It goes way back. And this chart is enough for us. For now. So, here's what I'm looking at. Number one, we'll start with something ridiculous like this. All right, just to give... Look, the title of this video is Meditating on These Exact Targets. A little clickbaity. But you know the sad part about all of this is that yesterday's clickbait title actually worked. We had a bigger audience. Just another stream, just another day. Nothing's happening. There are a lot of people and a lot of likes, which I do like and I appreciate. But it makes me wonder, is the little experiment working? All caps, exclamation. Actually, I forgot it. Wait a minute. Where are my exclamation marks? Let's edit this right now. I figured one exclamation mark equals like 5 people tuning in. So let's put like 10 exclamation marks right now. Bitcoin is primed for this massive move. Let's see what it does. So let's meditate on the chart right now. This is not logarithmic, all right? I don't use log, it's inaccurate. A lot of people claim that the only way to chart Bitcoin is using logarithm. Look, we're gonna talk about that also. We're gonna show you the pros and cons of using log scale. Bring you back to the basics of your early high school math days. We'll talk about linear things and exponential and also logs like this. So this is just a normal linear chart, all right? And 12 months, right? We only had like one correction over here, technically. All right, so, and it's been going up ever since. I'm just looking at this, and based on this, there is no top. Based on this, that's a 12-minute. So let's take a look. Let's play a little game. We'll take a look at the chart, and we'll phrase it in one neat sentence. We'll just call it something. And this one, the nickname for this one is no top. All right, because it's impossible. Just by looking at this, you're like, this thing is young as hell. And in but let's see what these charts are telling us. This is spot. Interest of Bitcoin, you know, the volume over here, early adopters, right? Sons of bitches. Feel that jealousy? Right? We're talking about 13, 14 the year, right? And then 16 and ultimately 17 pump. And then a full retrace of that pump, basically, right? The all-time high top. Look at the candles and look at the volume here. Notice how the most stacking was done on this candle when it had a little pullback. Let me show you. This is spot exchange, right? One of the biggest. Look at this candle. You see this candle? It's a 12 months worth of volume. You see this initial pump? That's the signal. That's, oh, you heard about Bitcoin? Yeah, it's maybe it's a good time to invest into it. Freaking, what's his name? Someone mentioned him here yesterday. I Googled. DJ12, Da Vinci something. They step in and buy $1 worth of Bitcoin, right? For example. Talking about how you should do the same, right? Boom. You see this volume over here? That's a lot. And you have to understand that this exchange, Bitstamp, has interesting developments going on with it. Researchers, just Google Bitstamp legal drama. The guy who created it out of the basement. The reason why we have inefficiencies here in the volume, why there's a huge divergence in terms of price going up versus the Bitcoin interest in terms of how much money is coming in, even though it's more liquid right now, this volume is actually now spread out. It's so hard to do volume analysis on Bitcoin because it's not a singular source. This volume it's different across all exchanges. So unless you have a combined order book somewhere that shows you all historical volume from pretty much every exchange, it's impossible. But let's imagine that this was the only exchange in the world that Bitcoin was traded on as a spot product. So you're buying Bitcoin on a spot. It's a story. Every chart is a story. And the story here is that early adopters, there's a pump, a flush out, they reload. The nicest place that you can get in after something like this. 2 little candles, signal candle, pull back, get in. After that, 12 months of nothingness and the biggest pump ever, almost 100% retrace down. And now, meanwhile, this whole time, right? The interest on this particular exchange and spot Bitcoin volume. So now from this candle to here, we're starting to hear about things like Bitcoin is the future, join the cult, there's no better. The maxis start coming out. There's a social media push. Everyone is in it. Institutions FOMO in because they can't even take it anymore. The internet did its thing. Internet magic money is working. However, the amount of money that's entering here, prices going up, diverging. This looks like you would call those tulip mania or something, where the suckers are literally right here on this candle. If we're looking at volume, no smart people are here right now. Yeah, you're hearing about clients are demanding, all right? They go to the bank, Morgan Stanley, and they say, look, I want a freaking Bitcoin investment, put me in, give me access. They say, sure. They don't tell them like, oh, careful, it's risky. They're like, I don't care. My friends are making money, just do it. So the volume is dispersed. It's not 100% true, but if we were to judge from this exchange, the story that this is telling us right now is fool's gold is right here. You're looking for idiots to pass on your bags. These guys are like the Illuminati almost here, If they held until now, these are some whales, you know what I mean? They know a thing or two about the markets, exchanges, and they're out there and geeked out on code and forums and all kinds of underground IRC chats and everything, right? No Discord, none of that nonsense. And they're waiting. They're waiting to do what they did here and what they did here before reloading. Except now they're not going to most likely reload. Look, you have to look into the future, right? You're thinking quantum computing, right? You're thinking about hash, 256 algorithm, you know, cracking codes, and you're thinking about like one little fun news story about how Bitcoin's transaction got captured and not returned back to the block. It's something, you know. People are humans, you know. People are amazing. They'll figure it out. They'll break. We're good at breaking shit. All right, so don't think that Bitcoin is this like forever immutable currency that will never break and Satoshi has got him. So look, technology will be broken. There will be something better. And if we're meditating, all right, I'm not telling you this is going to happen. We're meditating on the chart. We're looking at the story here, what the story is trying to tell us. And the story it's telling me is that that's where we're headed based on this. When this thing, the correction spells, let me just show you. A pullback down to this level. There's a confluence, 2 consecutive closes, and a rejection right here. That's 14K, around there, below the previous all-time high at 20. This is volume, right? The volume is not growing, not on this exchange. But like I said, it's a fairy tale here because ever since this exchange came to exist, let's say here, it was doing good here. And starting from here, we had like 200,000 other exchanges that came up. And so that volume dried up. It's not that Bitcoin is not interested. It's more liquid. Are you crazy, CR? Look at it, market cap. Yeah, I agree. What I'm trying to tell you is that there's a story here. And this is where we started to see more exchanges, more competitors, more products that are coming out in the ecosystem. And that volume gets distributed, sucked out, and it's not reliable anymore. So even though we're seeing a divergence, like, wow, who's going to long this? Why is it going up? Volume is spread out, and we need to go and hunt it down and see what's really going on with spot. Now, we also have OTC. We have behind the doors deals with Bitcoin and stuff like that. We have countries that have access to regulated exchanges, others that don't. So there's a lot of noise in this space, right? And so we look at this and cool, next page, right? And we have this over here, pretty much the same thing overall. And the volume is going somewhere else, right? In general. Now this is, it's showing us where the true support is, like the flipped support resistance that hasn't been retested, right? And it probably will get retested. At some point or the other. And so previously when we reached the all-time high, this thing came all the way down and now we're coming back. If this was say a smaller time frame, right, like a 5-15 minute, if we saw a pattern like this, we would expect this high to get run a little higher, but ultimately price would come back. So we'll see lots of these hammers on lower time frames, and we'll try to compare. You know, it's just this is going to take longer to play out. On smaller time frames, we can kind of fast forward, we can control time and see what happens on candlestick analysis. So from this, I'm not really seeing anything, but again, lightning takes volume into consideration, and so it is responding to the curve and declining volume here. So pretty cool. Now next, right, like what am I looking at here? Let's visualize. So on the oscillator side of things here, first of all, breakout points already happened, and it's telling me that once we close above here, we should have one more candle, and that's how we get to that 75. But you know, it's one of the biggest candles in the history of Bitcoin put together. So another one from above here brings us to around, you know, 75, 76 before we have one of these wicks. I'm not saying a full candle reversal, but one of these wicks that's going to suppress and push it back down to these levels. Also, if you were to strategically play, for example, according to our strategy, which is quite hilarious, but let's do it anyways. We have one, let's go punch out. And if we were to measure this, we're looking for, so to get to that Cathy Wood target of, I don't know, 500, this would be the setup multi-year play where we would have to close above this level, correct back down, but never falling below 10K ever again, right? Like that's the lowest we can go. However, we can go down to this blue line, and if it does so, something like that, right? Then this is a very valid strategic move and also an investment. And you're looking at, 1,157 days to get back to all-time highs and things like that. So multi-year, they would call it a bear market, even though looking at this chart, we haven't really had a bear market. But yeah, a typical 2-year bear market, sometimes longer. And it's just starting to happen now. Okay, that's on a 2-month. Also seeing a divergence in the oscillation of momentum here. So it went a little too hard, but the thing is, this drop was the corrective divergent move, and it's done. It's been bought, and now is going to push it higher. So that's the story here. And then the monthly time frame, we're also seeing something similar over here. However, let's go back to 2 months again. This little hump over here is the reset point between this peak and this peak, and is actually everything is in confluence here. Price and the oscillator is in confluence. This, however, this was a little this was a bit more accurate because we don't have the data here, but correction here was appropriate. Here though, at this peak down to here, everything is okay, and there's no divergence here whatsoever. So we had a little pullback naturally, not losing any strength, nothing significant, but obviously white and red candles is where you buy in and you sell into the green. And this green candle in particular right now, what's interesting is that it's quite big, literally the size of this correction, and it just didn't have more power to go lower. And it's not like we're resting on any support. Do you see any support around here? Like looking at this chart, was there any support here? No, it's just something random occurred here. The market decided, maybe they reacted to lower time frames, but I think it was someone else's decision, a multi-party agreement that we're not going to let price go lower than that. Everything is planned for us here within these markets, and so I don't see any support. Support would have been here if you needed to correct, but they just didn't want to. They have big wig clients out there saying no, wouldn't be interested if do it now. So Michael Saylor is in on it, Elon Musk, others, like all those guys out there, right? So zero support whatsoever, but technically we're speaking of classical analysis here. If we were to use something like this, I'm not going to say it, but those of you who know, you have learned this thing over here, and you can see that makes sense. Okay, according to some quantum mechanics here, the psychology is at play, and we literally just are inside a parallel channel where we had a break-in, retest of the mid channel, and now we're above it, and supposedly should go higher, but not guaranteed. So this is what we're looking at, right? These divisions here on a monthly chart, And it's very interesting because volume is as ever same, but overall these waves are getting smaller, smaller, and smaller. We have a restart point right here, but it's not really that important. And we've been in a long-term trend flow for a long time. We're very close, much like we were over here, to the dotted line over here. Very close, almost grinding against it. I believe this is the last leg into next year before we have a major correction that's going to last a little while. So people who are not going to, not getting ready to secure their profits for the year are going to regret it, much like the 20K top longers regretted that for the next 2-3 years thereafter. So that's what this thing is telling me. And below that, weekly time frame, not really interested. But again, the acceleration at which price is moving right now is faster than the oscillators. And even though these guys are lagging, obviously we can forecast that into the future and say that they will not be able to keep up. So by the time they close and price corrects, we will not even see that correction coming. It'll be swift, it'll be rapid, it'll be unexpected. And then we will see that on the oscillator much later. Consider like this bearish dip over here, and when we closed we actually had a drop, pretty freaking scary drop, right? 12k down. So this thing of yours that is going for all-time highs is coming back to the 49 target level that we've been talking about, that no one really can understand or believe right now, and are thinking that we are nuts. Said the same thing over here, right? When we're trending at 52 and we're like, we're coming back down to 40. Simple as that. And we came down to 40, like slightly below that even. Not on Bybit, but on spot for sure. So yeah. And those are the max. So, I was looking at these things and I just kind of played with the charts and try to understand what was happening here because of Bitcoin and why there's so much volatility here, and how's that going to I also think we're not moving in a bull market until we literally break and stay above the previous high, close above it, close above like 70, rebound and continue higher. It's not confirmed. For me, this could be a wide-ranging situation here where we're just like not, might be surprised, I think drawing lines here like many have and called this a breakout. Now there's another one that was pointed over here, and there was a breakout here at this point. 50k level was a breakout point, and we had 2 consecutive candles that closed above it. Again, no volume on spot, no volume on Bybit derivatives, no volume from we're just starting to see funding rates go up after all this time. Just now, literally from here to here, it was stable at 0.01. No one was longing it with leverage, the major players. Now there could be one that's sitting right here and you wouldn't know, and if I were to erase this, it would make absolute perfect sense, but only in retrospect. You would look back at this and you would say, oh, so it wasn't a breakout because volume didn't confirm it, but and we were going sideways and we thought we were going to run all-time highs, but the next candle opens, it has a spike and goes down, and then you look at like, oh, it closed above here, why do we have a huge wick of like 20k? I wasn't ready for that, right? And it goes back down to here, and you realize that there was a huge divergence in the making, all sorts of things that can go wrong. And so it's very important to play with these and have fun and understand what could go wrong. Interesting. So how long are you going to keep tracking this for a breakout? Or do you think that this was a breakout? It's a little ugly. So for me, it's like this. I always adjust my targets as new information presents itself, and thought to myself the other day that maybe we're not out of the woods until we run this high. And if we run it, you know, is that volume going to come in? Keep attention. Pay attention to the moving average and how we have not had a single volume bar that closed above it. So the best is yet to come. And right now, this overextension there's zero confidence or suggestion that this is a bull breakout and it spells continuation in the short term. Nothing of that nature. Just look back over here, right? This I understand. After a reset, maybe a little bit over here where it tried to and then it just died off. I don't know. I'm super skeptical, and it's not like I'm gonna miss out on this. You have to understand, those of you who are watching this channel and are thinking like, what the hell is this guy talking about? We're bullish or we're bearish. We're neither. We're traders, and we always make profitable trades. Doesn't matter what the price is, doesn't matter where it's going up or down. We have a very specific, unique way how we approach these markets and trade. But in today's video, we're just overall looking at the possibilities and what the charts are trying to tell us. And whether we're reading this correctly or not doesn't matter, because there's no decision based on this right now. I'm not investing. I'm not interested in holding Bitcoin. I'm not interested in accumulating more of it to get to the 500K target. I'm just interested to know if tomorrow will bring me another trade for $1,500 profitable trade, for example. And I have my numbers that I'm happy with, and I've been doing this like this forever. So to me, it doesn't really matter. There's no emotion. There's no, you know, prices going up and I'm all excited, like finally. I'm not waiting for this. I'm not looking forward to it. The only thing I'm looking forward to constantly is to be able to buy this thing cheaper, because I know its value as perceived by many others. Okay, that I cannot deny. For me, I don't really care. But these charts are really interesting. I think it's fascinating and it's very challenging, and we should spend some time just pondering the possibilities. Because if you're prepared for any and every scenario, then there's a good chance that you'll come out of this with profit. And most importantly, you know, as it keeps going up, your value of your portfolio is also increasing. So it's good to step back sometimes and think like, how can I preserve and log that value in? Like, what can I do? Very simple. Sell some, or use short hedge strategies where you could just like sit it out. And that's pretty much it. So now someone suggested that we look at Coinbase and see what the story is like on Coinbase. So we go up to 12. This is Coinbase, and it started in 14, and that's probably just around the period where Bitstamp started to see a lot of competition. A lot of these exchanges opened up, and we see that this volume has transferred over from those early beginner exchanges, spot exchanges, over to their competitors. So volume here appears to be healthy and is in sync with what the price is doing, which is also, you know, Bitstamp is, I don't think US customers have access to that. I may be mistaken, but as far as I know, it's a European exchange, and it was the first exchange, actually, one of the first exchanges ever for Bitcoin. And we have Bitunix as well. So 6 months over here, volume is pretty much consistent with what the price is doing. However, given how much was traded here, so first it went up, then it went down and produced a wick. We can see that this volume is double that of this candle right now. So this candle is going on very like there's very little confidence in this move, or maybe the disbelief stage is what they call it. So we have not seen much aggression here, right? Here there was a lot of fighting going on. So we produced this kind of candle that went up and then immediately went down. So we saw what happened. So double the amount of volume that was traded here. This tells me that there could be people that are trapped at the top here, and they were happily holding their position, and soon they will be once again in profit. And I don't think they'll hold beyond that level. I think they've had enough time to think about what they have done there, and they'll exit their positions at break even or a slight profit, paper hands, and that's going to push the price down a little bit. There's going to be a lot of unloading at the previous all-time high any time. So if price hesitates by Monday and doesn't progressively continues moving, the market will interpret that as hesitation, and then maybe we're approaching like a local secondary peak, all right, which is the worst. It's not, it is the scariest thing when you're like almost at running an all-time high and then you go down. The markets can easily freak out. They're very fragile, so people can act on that, and we could see another push back to half a candle here, which I am I'm expecting at this point. 45, and that's like minimum given where it started from here up until now. It's been a year and a half. Bull markets tend to last for longer than bear markets, with slight pauses in between, 3 to 4 years on average. But that's not a rule, you know. It's just it's what all the data that we have in the world to show us how assets are trending and how long do they usually last, and that's your average, right? But that can change anytime, and a new wave of financial markets may emerge where things will be different. You know, right now everything is moving faster. That means the lifetime shelf life for these cycles are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So 20 years ago we could say that you know, we could be in a bull market for 9-8 years. Now it's like half that. Just much like the content that we consume, a lot of the traders who are not part of the crypto apocalypse now are into those 5-minute videos that's gonna make them rich. And that's that downfall there. What I'm saying is, yeah, these cycles are going to be shorter and shorter and shorter because that's just how it is. The world is not fair, all right? The world is not fair. It's not going to give you a chance to keep getting rich and richer and rich throughout all these years that are to come. And the bull market is just gonna, no, there will be waves of uncertainty, and that's just gonna look pretty bad. So not enough data to use the oscillator here whatsoever. So Bitstamp is our only option. But in this case, even though combined volume for 6 months is looking healthy, we once again come back to these initial 2 candles that are below the moving average here. Unlike the coronavirus little pullback over here, which resulted in this candle, lots of interest in an initial investment. Top longers right here on this candle. We start calling the top. It extends another 2 months of a mini uptrend and then crashes immediately. I think similar awaits here. Now, I can see that we may get a crossover. VVS is looking hella strong here. If we get that crossover, yeah, we're hitting that 75 target minimum. And like I told you about, we evaluated this like months ago, and we said this is gonna take 2-3 months, right, to get there. So by next year, but not over 100K. Another thing, 1C dot is in the making right now. We have 16 days and 7 hours to close. This can get canceled, and most likely will get canceled based on how overextended long-term trend flow is. So I wouldn't call it a final step. And besides, when we had a crossover over here, for example, it was already time. It went up and then it completely retraced all the way back down, and we had the coronavirus dip, which took everyone by surprise. So momentum accelerated up. Okay, everything was looking peachy. We had a pullback, we bought it, it started to go up, exploded, but then closed down and completely crapped itself out, right? Like way below the previous lows, unexpectedly, right? You guys remember that time? Yeah, how did that feel? Was that, did you see that coming? So that was not confirmed. So forget about this. It's lagging. And this green dot represents a reversal from here. So we're 1, 2, 3, 4 candles on a monthly time frame behind on the oscillator. That's just how indicators work. There's nothing that is in sync. They need to calculate periods. They lag by 14 as the standard. So this crossover is actually starting from pullback in sync, synchronized, right? So we had it. This dot was supposed to appear over here, but price reacted a little too aggressively. There will be consequences, guys. I'm telling you, there will be consequences because of this. This thing is lagging. It's actually an indicator that's telling us the market is getting ahead of itself. It's over its head. It's way too confident, and we're gonna pay the price as a result. So let it keep running wherever it wants to, but on the next candle open, I imagine 16 days from now till the end of the month, I'll be very, very cautious. And yeah, I don't really care what we miss here. I'll get my trade tomorrow on lower time frames regardless. But in terms of like the reason I'm looking at this is because while we're trading on lower time frames, we want to be aware. We don't want to get caught in another one of these, right? And if we do, we want to be short on those. So right now, weekly, not really telling me anything, but diverging again. 2 days to go. I'm gonna chill. Weekend, not my zone for a trade. I think we go create a gap, and then we start coming down aggressively on Monday. But we're gonna go sideways forever at the top, and it's gonna look like we're making another leg up, and we're gonna come crashing down. I'm pretty sure of that. However, that crash back down is going to be bought pretty quickly. And now, if previous target was 50K, we have now officially moved up to a minimum target of 52. There's just no other way. So a wick over here, a wick over here, another one over here, and another one over here. Pullback without breakout without any significant pullback towards the area calls for a 53 revisit, which is roughly the HC of this whole move, wherever it goes. So if it keeps going higher, I'll keep adjusting this as my come back to zone. But I think it's going to happen by Monday. There's a good chance there might. And basically, as to the upside, whatever happens here, we will have one more leg. Mandatory before we come back down. It's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while. So by the dip mode right now is the way we play this is we keep a little distance away from this just in case. When and if it decides to drop, we should maintain that distance away from the price so we can counter it and then play good defense. But yeah, you know, moves over here, right? They were a little more pleasant to trade because we had sharp pullbacks which were scary, and that is good that we could buy into. And we had these indecision candles here, right? Another deep pullback back to HC. So very nicely played. Gave us good entries. We had all sorts of rounded bottom formations, triangles over there, calling this bottom here impulse up. But now I'm taking the contrarian viewpoint and I'm on the other side of the trade. I am going to look for not a short, but I'm going to look for a profitable zone to lock myself into. And then I don't care where it goes, because if you ask me, would you sell all of your Bitcoin at like 65? I would say yeah. And if you would ask me the follow-up question and say, well, what if I told you that it's gonna go to like, I don't know, 250,000 tomorrow? I'd still be okay. There's always a working capital balance that I have available to play with, but the majority of whatever I have right now, and don't forget, I have the majority of it is in USDT, and I haven't bought back in ever since the drop over here. So I haven't redeployed that spot account. So I would say that I'm not the only one, and there's a lot of side capital that is waiting to re-enter, and what I'm waiting for is for them to actually give in and buy the top. Then we have that correction, and I'll consider redeploying again, depending on like where we are in time on the yearly time frame. So 2 years of a non-stop uptrend for Bitcoin. It's time to ask some questions. It's time to ask some questions around here. And that's what we're doing. So yeah, my hedge lock short in begins at this level. Okay. Now for the next trade and MarketSpy setup, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hop over to Discord. Yesterday, YouTube, we here with all the platooners left you with a long trade. Just before signing off, we said Bitcoin is going to give you that 500-point trade. We called it right here, and I said get in. And then you were presented with this opportunity here, courtesy of Cryptopocalypse Now. Then we went over to the Discord server and we talked about how and what's next. And we're gonna do the same now. So YouTube, I'm gonna leave you hanging. Thank you for watching. Platoon, I'll see you shortly. I don't know, maybe tomorrow. It's kind of late and pointless right now because I'm not doing anything. And I'm certainly not going to tell you which levels to buy, because look at this, right? Like, we're not getting it. We're not getting it. So I'm flipping the chart for myself, and I'm going to talk about shorts and where to find those, and warn you not to jump in on this immediately. And we're also going to talk about how low she can go and where we can just lock ourselves in for the nice little $5,000 pullback when it comes by Monday. So I'll see you there. As for the rest of you, thank you for the likes. Couldn't break the record. It's 41. 50 likes minimum for a free setup on YouTube. If you like those setups from all of our previous streams, there was at least one very precise, profitable setup that you could have traded. But I guess, Tube, I'm going to leave you with a warning here and say that if you're long right now, you're long in the top. You have been warned. Have a great time. Good day. Wherever you are, whatever you're into, have fun doing it. And I'll see you tomorrow. gonna let you meditate on this chart for a little second. Just so you can understand what it is that you're looking at right here.
We're going for all-time highs.
Yeah. I'm going 30x long right now. What about you?
I'm already in 50x, but kind of underwater still.
How? The price hasn't had a single pullback.
I know, but I'm 30x. I'm already underwater.
Hang in there. I'll join you with another 50x long right now.
Idiots.
Right? Until you know. You know.
Minimum
69 or nothing when it comes to these charts. It's a sacred number that we must respect. 69x. Now and forever. Otherwise, you're not a real trader.